Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive. We're always digging into some pretty fascinating stuff. But I think today's topic is one that a lot of us can relate to on a really practical level.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to be talking about the idea of having a clear intention, a kind of North Star, to guide your actions and decisions.
That's a great way to put it, a North Star.
And, what's really interesting is that we're going to be pulling wisdom from some pretty diverse sources.
Okay.
You've got the ancient Stoics, modern self-help gurus, and even some strategic thinking from folks like Robert Greene.
Interesting mix.
Yeah, and what's really going to blow your mind, I think, is how much these seemingly different worlds actually agree on this fundamental principle of having a clear intention.
Well, I'm excited to hear how those connect.
Me too.
Yeah.
So let's dive in.
All right.
Now I want to start with a quote from Seneca. And I think this is going to resonate with a lot of you because, we all have those days where we just feel so scattered and like we're running around like crazy, but not really getting anywhere.
Ugh, yeah, all the time.
Right. So Seneca says,
Okay.
It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested.
That's interesting.
He's not saying that we don't have enough time, but that we're not using it effectively. And I think that lack of intention is a big part of that.
I see what you mean.
Like, have you ever had those days where you're just so busy you're checking things off your to-do list?
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're like, wait, what did I actually accomplish? What was the point of all of that?
It's like just spinning your wheels.
Exactly. And I think Seneca would say that's because we're so caught up in the activity itself that we lose sight of the why behind it all.
Yeah, so much of our busyness these days is really just a distraction from what matters most.
Right. So this idea of intention, of having that North Star, is all about bringing that why back into focus.
I like it.
Now, what's really cool is that this idea isn't just something that Seneca talked about, 2,000 years ago.
Right.
It pops up again and again in modern thinking.
Oh, interesting. I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, so you've got Stephen Covey with his famous 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Ah, a classic.
Right. And his second habit is begin with the end in mind, which is all about having a clear vision of what you want to achieve.
So it's like setting your destination before you start the journey.
Precisely.
Makes sense.
And then you've got Robert Greene, who approaches this idea from a more strategic angle.
Oh, yeah.
In the 48 Laws of Power, he talks about how having a clear intention can give you an edge in navigating power dynamics.
Interesting. So it's not just about personal goals, but also understanding how intention plays into success in any field.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's fascinating to me how all of these different thinkers from different time periods and disciplines converge on this same fundamental principle.
So it's like a timeless principle that applies no matter what your goals are or what field you're in.
Absolutely. Now, it's important to note that the Stoics weren't about guarantees. They understood that life is unpredictable and that things don't always go according to plan.
Right.
But for them, having a clear intention wasn't about ensuring a specific outcome.
Okay.
It was about making better choices along the way.
Oh, I see. So it's like having a guiding principle that helps you navigate those unexpected twists and turns.
Exactly. Like you're not going to hit a home run every time.
Right.
But having that intention helps you adjust, adapt, and make choices that align with what you ultimately want.
Like having a compass to guide you, even when you have to take detours along the way.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Because it's not about having this rigid, ironclad plan that never changes.
Yeah, life is too messy for that.
Right. It's about having that sense of direction that helps you course correct when you inevitably encounter obstacles.
It's so easy to get sidetracked or lost in the day-to-day chaos without that.
And the Stoics had a name for the mental errors that arise from a lack of direction.
Oh, really? What's that?
They called it oasis, or false conceptions.
It's false conceptions.
Yeah, and basically, these are the misconceptions we have about the world and ourselves that lead to bad decisions and a lot of unnecessary emotional turmoil.
So if we don't have a clear sense of where we're going, we're more likely to make choices based on faulty assumptions.
Think of it this way. Have you ever started a project without a clear plan?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's like trying to build a house without a blueprint.
Ooh, yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Right. You might end up with something, but it's probably not going to be what you envisioned.
And you're going to waste a lot of time and energy along the way.
Exactly. And I think that's what Seneca meant when he talked about the madness of directionlessness.
The madness of directionlessness.
It's that feeling of being lost, overwhelmed, and ultimately dissatisfied with where you end up.
Oh, I've been there.
And I think that feeling is all too common these days.
Yeah, for sure.
We're bombarded with information and demands on our time and this constant pressure to achieve.
Like we're always on the go, but going nowhere.
Exactly. So it's no wonder that so many people feel burned out and directionless.
Totally.
So where do we go from here? What's the takeaway? Simply having a goal isn't like some magic solution, right?
Right. It's not a magic wand.
Right.
But it's the crucial first step.
Okay.
It takes work, dedication, and the willingness to adapt as you go.
Okay.
But having that North Star to guide you, that clear intention, can make all the difference in navigating the complexities of life.
It's that starting point, that foundation for making more conscious choices.
Exactly. And with that in mind, I'd like to leave you with a question.
Okay.
If you could apply this wisdom to just one area of your life right now, where would it be? What would your end in mind look like? Just something to think about as you continue on your journey.
That's a great question. I think I'm going to have to sit with that one for a while.
Me too.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Wow, that went by fast.
I know, right? But hey, that's what happens when you're having a good conversation.
That really is fascinating stuff.
It is, and I hope you all got as much out of it as we did.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep that North Star shining bright.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.